Running a Harry Potter channel, I get to see a lot of opinions, and I mean a lot, which means that at any given moment, I've got a pretty good idea of where the fandom sits on a particular issue. For example, the Cursed Child is fairly universally hated among Harry Potter purists, enjoyable to casuals, and probably the best thing they've ever seen to people unfamiliar with the story altogether. Of course, there's nuance here, as I, for example, can appreciate the Cursed Child as a separate entity. But basically my point is this: I've got a fairly clear understanding of the landscape. And in a time when, let's be honest, fan expectations for the Harry Potter TV show are a little glim, it looks like we've been delivered a great equalizer. Something that will appease pretty much anyone that's been keeping up with the show's progress. But before we continue, I just want to mention that only 31.5% of you are subscribed. So if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to support the channel. I am of course talking about the announcement that Hans Zimmer will be producing music for the show. The announcement was made across HBO Max's social media channels. Our music, a magic beyond all we do here. We're honoured to announce that Hans Zimmer and Bleeding Fingers will compose new score for HBO's Harry Potter series, coming soon to HBO Max. In case you're living under a rock, Hans Zimmer is a pretty big deal. He's the guy behind The Lion King, The Dark Knight trilogy, Interstellar, Inception, Gladiator, and more. And when you hear a few notes and your brain instantly knows where you are, that's his thing. And that's why I think this update is particularly huge. Because instead of doing the safest possible thing, just recycling John Williams' music and calling it a day, HBO is letting Zimmer create something new. Not replacing what came before, not pretending the original scores don't exist, but expanding the musical identity of Harry Potter in a way that actually makes sense for a long-form TV series. And what really sold me on this is Zimmer's own reaction to getting the job. He's been pretty upfront about the fact that Harry Potter's music is basically sacred ground in the film scoring world. Certainly not something you casually stroll into. And from everything he said, he's fully aware of how much pressure comes with that. He's working with his team at Bleeding Fingers Music, and they've all made it very clear that this isn't being treated like just another project. There's a real emphasis on respecting what already exists, while still finding ways to pull viewers deeper into the magic. This doesn't feel like someone trying to reinvent Harry Potter just to put their stamp on it. It feels like someone who actually gets the responsibility. And as someone who is as protective as Harry Potter as I am, this feels somewhat comforting. The musical legacy of Harry Potter is a touch point for composers everywhere, and we are humbled to join such a remarkable team on a project of this magnitude. The responsibility is something that myself, Cara Talvi, and Arnzi Rosman do not take lightly. Magic is all around us, often just beyond reach. But as in the world of Harry Potter, you simply must look for it. With this score, we hope to bring audiences that little bit closer to it, whilst honouring what has come before. Zooming out for a second, this choice says a lot about how HBO is approaching the series as a whole. Hans Zimmer isn't short on work. He's already scoring Dune Part 3, he's involved with Euphoria, and he's still picking up major award nominations. The fact that he's taking this on at all suggests this show isn't being treated as some throwaway reboot. And for a fandom that's been, let's say, cautiously optimistic at best, this is one of those updates that genuinely helps gain some traction. Because no matter where you land on casting, canon changes, or adaptation choices, there's one thing that almost everyone agrees on. Harry Potter is all about atmosphere. And with Hans Zimmer handling the music, that atmosphere suddenly feels a lot more secure. Zimmer will of course be taking over for the late John Williams, who created some of the most iconic tracks from the original Harry Potter films. And honestly, even though he's a huge legend himself, Zimmer has some pretty big shoes to fill. Because John Williams isn't just the old composer they're moving on from. He's an absolute legend, one of the most important composers in film history. He's the guy who gave us Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, E.T., Jaws, and more. Era-defining music. And he's got such an iconic and distinctive sound that you always know it's him, even though it's absolutely catered to the film he's working on. When it comes to Harry Potter specifically, Williams scored Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which of course means that he's responsible for Hedwig's theme, arguably the musical identity of the entire franchise. That melody is Harry Potter. You hear it and you immediately think Hogwarts, wands, magic, Diagon Alley, the whole thing. John Williams' music is baked into the DNA of the wizarding world forever. Nothing's changing that. But what is changing is the format. A long-form TV series needs music that can stretch, evolve, and adapt over dozens of hours of storytelling. And while Williams' themes are iconic, we do need to be mindful of the fact that they were written for tightly structured films, not an episodic retelling that's going to live with us for years. So bringing in Hans Zimmer doesn't feel like a rejection of the past. It feels like the next logical step, respecting what John Williams built while acknowledging that this new version of Harry Potter needs room to breathe. Now let's quickly discuss Zimmer's style, because as optimistic as I am and as talented as he is, it's not a total given that it'll fit Harry Potter. In contrast with Williams, Zimmer's music is less about catchy, hummable melodies and more about mood, tension, and scale. He builds atmosphere slowly. He lets scenes breathe. His scores tend to sit under the story like this constant emotional current, almost like a heartbeat, something you don't consciously notice at first, but you'd immediately feel if it wasn't there. It pulses beneath the scene, quietly guiding how tense, uneasy, or awestruck you're supposed to feel, rather than stepping forward to announce itself every 5 minutes. Think about the sense of unease in The Dark Knight, the emotional weight and time-bending weirdness of Interstellar. That's Zimmer at his best, creating a feeling that sticks with you long after the scene ends. And while this is certainly unfamiliar territory for something like Harry Potter, the key distinction is that this is a TV show, not a movie, and that may require this constant building that Zimmer's so well known for. He's also very good at restraint, which I think is key here. Not every magical moment needs fireworks, and perhaps most importantly of all, this does not mean Hedwig's theme disappears. I'd be willing to bet that nearly all of the Harry Potter music produced by John Williams will make its way into the show somehow. We just get the luxury of Williams and Zimmer. Zimmer has also made it pretty clear that honouring what came before matters, and that his goal will be building a broader musical language that can evolve season by season. As cautiously optimistic as I've been about the show, this update is one of the biggest and best that I think we could have gotten, and I'm excited to see how it all plays out. We're still a long way away from the show's debut, which currently has a target of 2027. But it is already 2026, which means we're trekking along. Also, once it starts, we're in it for a while, with a nearly 10-year runtime and plenty of seasons. I'm very curious to hear what you all think of this announcement, so let me know down in the comment section below. Are you happy with Zimmer, or could they have gone with someone else? Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live